When we have a problem, such as having to deal with chronic pain on a daily basis, our first instinct is to want to solve it, is to problem solve, is to find the causes, is to find solutions that work for us. But in this video, I'm going to be explaining why this attitude of constant problem solving isn't helping you at all. It can actually make chronic symptoms worse. By the way, I'm Miriam, holistic life coach and mind-body practitioner at PainOutsidetheBox, and my job is to make you aware of potential triggers behind chronic symptoms and how you can deal with these from a 100% psychological perspective, on the basis that most chronic symptoms are psychological. Even though they manifest physically in the body, there is an emotional root cause behind them. I'd like to introduce you to the idea that when we are trying to fix something, especially when that problem is not immediately solvable, then this attitude of problem solving isn't working for us. It's working against us. So problem solving works with simple problems, with things that we know that we need to do, such as if we break a bone, we know that we need to get it mended and have a cast on, and there's a protocol, and that's totally fine, right? When something goes wrong in our house, when something is damaged, we know that we need to go to the repair shop. So that's fine. When there is a clear solution, it's fine. The problem is that with chronic symptoms, typically individuals don't find a clear-cut solution. They try different things and they don't work. And their problem-solving attitude, this mindset of chasing a solution to try and fix their chronic symptoms, is actually making them worse because it's creating stress. When we're approaching chronic symptoms from a mindset of wanting to fix something that's wrong with our body, what we're actually doing is we're constantly sending signals to our brain, telling it that something is not okay. So with whatever therapy, whatever appointment you're booking, if you find yourself chasing a solution, then what you're doing is constant reminders to your brain, something is not right, I need to fix myself. And that can cause an intensity of negative emotion. It's a constant reminder that you are broken, and this is the message that your brain and body are constantly getting. You are broken, I need to be fixed, etc., etc. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you shouldn't rule out anything serious. I'm not saying that you should drop all treatments, all appointments. No, if it leads you to an answer, then well and good. But I meet a lot of individuals who keep chasing solutions, who keep booking appointments, way beyond having ruled out anything serious. They keep chasing a diagnosis. They keep looking for a different treatment, trying different things. And I noticed that these things don't help them. They're actually making them worse because they're looking for a solution, for something to fix a broken body. And they're in a position of powerlessness, just hoping for the next thing to work, hoping for an answer. Now, with mind-body symptoms, with practically 90% of all chronic symptoms, the solution lies in re-regulating our nervous system, in working with our levels of distress, with our emotions, seeing why our body is responding in this way, because symptoms are always signals. They're always signals that something is not quite okay, right? So it could be something in your personal life. It could be an accumulation of anger and fear. It could be, and in a lot of cases it also is, the fear of the symptoms themselves, the fear that you're broken and the fear of a future that you wouldn't be living to your potential because of your symptoms. So if we look at these elements psychologically, then we're out of the usual problem-solving mode and more into an awareness mode, more into identifying the real triggers behind our pain. And it doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything, because of course it starts with awareness, it starts with learning, right? It starts with also starting to shift certain habits, certain behaviors that are not helping you. So there is always an element in this work of doing, of implementation. And in fact, this is the factor that a lot of people miss out on. They would learn that their symptoms are mind-body or psychosomatic. They would know what the problem is. They would have therapy for any trauma or distressing events they've been through, but then they wouldn't know how to implement new habits and behaviors that promote a symptom-free life. And these include any habits that treat your body as broken, including the tendency and the urge to want to problem solve and constantly fix your body. Some people are actually using wonderful tools to try and heal, like meditation, somatic exercises, workouts. But if they're using these tools from this attitude of wanting to change the body immediately, of wanting to prevent symptoms, of wanting to micromanage symptoms, then these tools won't work. Because once again, they're in problem-solving mode. They're viewing their body or their lives as a problem, and that is heavy on the mind. That is difficult to work with when you see yourself as broken, as having this issue that needs to be, dismantled or taken away. It doesn't happen that way. It happens by creating the right conditions for the tension and the stress in your body to release. And this could look like pursuing more joy in your life. It could look like dropping any tendencies that create pressure on yourself. It could look like taking a decision that will make your life better, that will make your life lighter. Again, this comes from significant awareness work. But it never looks like fighting the problem, constantly micromanaging your symptoms, or having a really rigid schedule of things you want to do in order to heal. That typically doesn't work. So I know that there could be considerable amount of overwhelm when you hear about this. I know you could start doubting yourself, doubting whether you're doing everything right. Again, that's usually a problem-solving attitude, a desperate attitude, okay? Because it's not about doing everything wrong either. It's about the mindset and the outlook from which you approach this healing work and this healing journey, right? So if you're finding yourself overwhelmed with information or confused, I just encourage you, just for this moment, take a step back, drop your shoulders, drop your hands by your side here with me, breathe, and allow the air to pass through your mouth on the out breath. Imagine that you have nothing to do right now in this moment. This is why we drop our arms. It's just a signal to the brain that we're going to let go of this problem-solving attitude. We're not going to do anything for now. And it's not about being lazy. It's about releasing this despair, this urge. And whenever you find yourself in this attitude, in this mindset of, oh, I want to change this, I need desperately to do something. If you're doing something out of desperation, if you're forcing yourself almost, then that's the time to do this simple technique. Just relax, drop your hands by your side, drop your shoulders. You don't need to hold your body upright. Maybe sway a little bit side to side, and then get on with your day. And then do the next thing that you are open to doing, that you are curious and playful about doing. Not anything that feels like you're chasing a solution, like you're trying desperately to fight the situation. That doesn't work. So just brainstorm what's the next thing that you can do anyway, despite your symptoms, that gives you a feeling of lightness, that you're curious to try out. And just do that for today. Reminding yourself that you don't need to achieve any specific outcome. Just for today. So I hope that you find this insight and technique helpful. If you'd like to follow a more structured process, a healing journey that is free of pressure, that is not absolutely rigid, and that will introduce you to the right techniques and mindsets and habits that will help you cultivate the right conditions for healing, I would encourage you to check out my Pain-Free Breakthrough program, and I will be linking to this in the description. So that's all from me for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.